Hi, my name is Alan Geller. I'm the author of the book Scary Diagnosis. I wrote Scary Diagnosis about after being diagnosed with MS about 6 years ago, MS meaning multiple sclerosis, and after my wife had suffered her second case of cancer, malignant melanoma, which was more than 7 years ago now. I'm not a doctor, I'm a patient, and I'm taping this in late December 2009. And the purpose of today's little video is to talk about some of the things that have happened in the year 2009 with respect to advancements in hopefully cures as opposed to treatments, and to also discuss a little bit about how you have to be a proactive patient, which is the focus of my book, because not only are things moving ahead at a very rapid rate, but it's very difficult to rely on your doctors and even the mainstream media to keep you as up to date as you really need to be in order to get your best possible outcome, regardless of what your diagnosis was. Today, the stuff that I'm going to talk about focuses a little bit more on autoimmune disease, MS in particular, and certainly cancer. And so I hope you'll forgive me. I'm going to be doing a little bit of reading today to you, and I'm going to do my best to pronounce some of the things that I came across in the news, most specifically on the internet first, and then perhaps later in mainstream media. And my pronunciation of some of these things isn't great, so bear with me on that. I'll spell them out so you have the opportunity to Google them, Yahoo them, Bing them, search them in any way you like, should you find them interesting and worthy of some additional attention. So I'd like to start off with one that is interesting, because it's my belief that medicine should be practiced moving forward on an integrative basis, meaning that there needs to be a much better marriage between alternative therapies and mainstream allopathic medicine. And so the first one is, the headline was, "Herb may offer hope for autoimmune disease," and a compound derived from hydrangea root, an herb used in traditional Chinese medicine, halted the progression of an autoimmune disease in laboratory mice and human cells. What makes the compound halofugenone so promising, the researchers said, is that it slowed the progression of the disease without suppressing normal immune system functions. A major drawback of current treatments for autoimmune disease is increased risk for infections because of suppressed immune system functioning. And I can tell you that if you do scour the internet for some information on suppression of the immune system to treat some of these diseases, particularly MS and some of the autoimmune diseases, you'll find that there's a growing concern over a higher incidence of cancer in people taking immunosuppressant drugs for long periods of time. The next one is important development in the treatment of multiple sclerosis. The team found that mice designed to express a large amount of neuropeptides, galanin, G-A-L-A-N-I-N, were completely resistant to MS-like disease. Experimental autoimmune encephalomyelitis, EAE, transgenic mice that contained no galanin at all developed a more severe form of the disease. So to put that in English, some scientists genetically engineered some mice to produce higher levels of galanin, and those mice seem to be resistant to an MS-like disease. It's the equivalent in animals to an MS-like disease, which is a whole other issue as to whether it is really the equivalent to MS. But in mice that were genetically engineered to have no galanin, they seem to develop very severe cases of the disease. In the next one, scientists reverse multiple sclerosis in mice. Experimental treatment suppresses immune cells, forcing remission, study says. Wednesday, an experimental treatment that suppresses the immune system to put multiple sclerosis into remission completely reversed the disease in mice, Canadian scientists say. In MS, the immune system attacks the central nervous system. The new treatment, called GIFT, GIFT15, GIFT15, is composed of two proteins that are fused in the laboratory. Normally, the individual proteins act to stimulate the immune system, but when they're stuck together, and that's what it says, the proteins suppress immune system response. Shockingly, you would think that that GIFT15 would have received a lot more coverage in the press. If this is the first time you're hearing about GIFT15, you really ought to do some searching on the internet about it, because it really is potentially a groundbreaking discovery, and it does raise the question, as all these bits of news raise the question, why aren't we hearing more about this in the mainstream media and or from our doctors? Granted, they are in their early phases, and they are discoveries, and they are announcements, but you know, one of the things that absolutely is essential when dealing with any kind of serious condition or disease is hope. And we should be getting bits and pieces of this from the mainstream media and from our doctors, so that we can be looking towards the future and having as much possible hope as we can muster. In the next one, the University of Alberta discovery. Now this is a big one, and this is cancer related. DCA is an odorless, colorless, inexpensive, relatively non-toxic, and that is the key word, non-toxic, small molecule, and researchers at the University of Alberta believe it may soon be used as an effective treatment for many forms of cancer. Dr. Evangelos Mikolakis, a professor at the University of Alberta Department of Medicine, has shown that DCA causes regression in several cancers, including lung, breast, and brain tumors. Now, in some circles, this is being heralded as a possible cure for cancer, and remarkably, this substance DCA is relatively inexpensive and relatively available, and is something that anybody with cancer, or if you have a friend or family member with cancer, should be doing a little bit more reading about and understanding and following as it moves forward. The next one is about stem cells, and there's a couple about stem cells. Stem cell transplant study shows promise for multiple sclerosis. U.S. researchers have reversed multiple sclerosis symptoms in early stage patients by using bone marrow stem cell transplants to reset the immune system. I'll read a couple more of them, and then I have a couple of things I'd like to say about stem cells. Adult stem cells reverse symptoms of multiple sclerosis. According to the UK Telegraph, researchers in Britain have taken stem cells from a patient's own body fat to stimulate the regrowth of tissue damaged by multiple sclerosis. Now, that's very important, because in multiple sclerosis, and as in many of these autoimmune diseases, they're degenerative diseases. So even if a cure, a so-called cure, was found today, it's rare that there's any hope that there can be repair of old damage, but yet this article talks about repairing old damage.